So today we are here at the Botanical Gardens in Gainesville. This is a branch of the Atlanta Botanical Gardens. So we're going to hike the trails and explore the grounds themselves to see what all we can find here blooming. So come along, let's see what we can find. So let's hit the trails here at the Atlanta Botanical Garden in Gainesville and see what we can find. So now we're going to go on the Western Garden Walk. This is an off-road trail. The Sourwood Trail, which is 1/2 mile around the garden. It is a dirt path, so make sure you wear shoes accordingly. While you can see a lot of greenery, you can definitely see some poison oak. So do not touch the poison oak. Stay on the trails and you will be fine. The best part about the botanical garden is there's so much to do. No matter your physical fitness, there are plenty of trails, and there are even fun scavenger hunts for the kids, as well as a play area outside for the kids. So definitely look into the botanical garden, because it is definitely worthwhile. To get out and become one with nature. You can definitely understand a lot of the flowers, as they're all marked so that you can easily identify them, as well as the trees. So if you're a little rusty on nature, flowers, and understanding just what might be what, definitely come check out the botanical garden. You will learn a lot. And you'll even get to hear the iconic train sound. And of course, my favorite part, you get to get back in the woods and see all these beautiful tree roots emerging from the ground where they have been walked on, or where they're just simply growing, like this beech tree. can understand what the different barks identify. And they even have signs so that you can read about different trees and plants and understand them better. I love this bark. It's so textured. It's interesting to see how all bark is different. In my opinion, I think the best time to visit the botanical gardens is in spring, when more flowers are blooming. However, essentially any time is a great time to come because you can see and do so much throughout the year. So don't let the lack of flowers blooming hold you back, because there are flowers blooming throughout the year. See here now, we know that that bark belongs to a sourwood tree. We can identify it, understand what it looks like, and see some amazing transformations on that bark. And yes, those tree roots. My favorite. So let's continue walking and see where this trail takes us and where our next trail will be. Check this out. It's the beginning formations of a tree burrow. And this tree may have to be my favorite. It has undergone some interesting transformation. It is almost twisted. And that is why I love a good trail hike. Sure, we can run this trail, but we will be missing out on a lot. Like this sign. Describes how the sourwood is a tree for all seasons. Because essentially, it does something with each season. While right now it has the green leaves and it is flowering, which gets pollinated by the bees, makes that local honey delicacy. It gives beautiful red foliage in the fall, and in the winter it is simply beautiful to look at. Let's continue our journey on. They essentially highlight the trail with leaves so that you know you're still on the correct trail. Very helpful, especially so you don't get lost. You can definitely tell that it is well maintained. There's no overgrowth on the trails. It is simply the bare minimum. And look, we found some color. These beautiful red flowers. decision time. So we've essentially almost completed that trail already, and it's only taken about 9 minutes. We can go that way to the exit, or we can continue onto Holly Ridge Trail, which is a 1/2 mile loop. So I think we're going to take Holly Ridge Trail and continue our journey on. Look at these beautiful ferns lining the path. They look like large cinnamon ferns. Those are red bottoms. A nice bridge with a little stream trying to flow. So as you can see now, we are on the Holly Trail. These beautiful wood burning markings on the wood. And I can see why this is Holly Trail, because there are more holly trees on this trail, whereas the other one had more dogwoods. There is our first holly. Let's see how many more holly trees we can find. It's definitely enjoyable just to get out and hear the sounds of nature. Take a moment to reflect on yourself rather than having to worry about other life events. So definitely seeing here, this is a sourwood. So it looks like the sourwoods are the twisted trees. So maybe we have figured out one of our looming questions. Like I said, you always learn something at the botanical garden. Here we have an American holly, which has not quite bloomed out yet. I believe they're identifying that as American holly, but it does not appear to be American holly. And the area is definitely safe because it is fenced in around the perimeter. So that is always a good fact to note, especially when you're going out hiking alone. So here is the Dogwood Trail, which loops into Holly Ridge Trail here. So we will continue onto Dogwood Trail. Which you can see is identified by the iconic dogwood flower. Once again, burned into a piece of wood. What better marker could you ask for, right? We also have a lot of privet hedge in here. You may think that the mileage is a lot. However, it is not really that long when you begin walking. Anyone could essentially walk this trail as long as you are capable of doing so. However, if you're not, there are plenty of opportunities to see some beautiful exhibits out in the main gardens. However, you know me and I like to explore nature and trees. Here's a beautiful flower. It is not identified, but it is beautiful. Another amazing bridge. And we're still on Dogwood Trail. However, ironically, there is some holly here. So should this still be called Dogwood Trail or Holly Trail? That is the question. That tree just twisted right off. But they done a great job of ensuring that the trail was open still. And yes, it is a little steep. So you may want to bring some water with you. Especially if you plan on doing the whole trails like I am right now. However, there are benches if you need to sit down and take a break. Here's a beautiful American white oak with, once again, some poison oak growing up its base. We're still on Dogwood Trail. We've had a couple of storms which have definitely done a little damage. But it is nothing that is impassable. We're continuing on Dogwood Trail. Getting that loop in. I believe we're nearing the end of this loop. Because I can see the trail just down there, where we began with the bridge. But once again, I don't see many dogwoods on this trail. It's almost like I would consider it in need of a name change, like Holly Trail. Because there is again another holly tree. But if you come a little earlier in the season, in the spring, you can definitely see the dogwoods blooming, which is always beautiful here in the North Georgia mountains. I think we all know what this is by now. A sourwood. By the iconic bumpy bark and these unique knots that it formulates. Okay, so now we're back to Holly Trail. I think the right goes back to where we were, so we're going to go left toward the visitor center and the exit. When you do get here, you get a map which shows you the layout of the entire botanical gardens. So don't have fear that you're going to get lost, especially with the trails like this here, because essentially there's only one way to go. And if you get lost, just turn around, because the trails all loop into each other. Here's a man-made rock bridge. And there we're back nearing the visitor center. For me, this hike only took roughly about 23 minutes. However, I'm a fast walker and I have been here several times, so definitely take your time and explore a little more. It could easily be a 30 to 45 minute hike if you make it. So since we have done both trails, we are now going to the visitor center to check out the gardens. So that was our full trail hike here at the Botanical Gardens in Gainesville. We have now made our way back to the visitor center, and now we're going to go explore some more of the gardens. So come on. Make sure you like and subscribe to my channel and click that notification bell so that you can stay tuned for that next gardens video. Subscribe to my channel and give it a thumbs up. I can't wait to see you on our next journey as we explore a journey through an Appalachian heart.